If you are between 70 and 75 years old and can still do the following 8 things, you are truly admirable. There is an old saying, at 70, a man is rare. Time passes, and the human heart is rarely at peace. Everyone desires longevity, but reality often does not meet expectations. Many people do not make it to 70. What's even more painful is that some reach this age only to fall into a frail state, barely hanging on, dependent on others for support. Even things they want to do on their own become impossible. You may notice that the period from 70 to 75 years old is a crucial milestone. If you can overcome it, you may live comfortably, healthily, and extend your life to 80. Take a moment to observe yourself. If you are able to do the following things, you are truly worthy of admiration and should feel grateful for life. A healthy body, being able to take care of your own meals and daily needs. Health is the greatest fortune for the elderly. Someone who can still hold a bowl and eat vegetables by themselves is far better off than having to hire a caregiver for 8 million viandantes per month to feed them. A healthy body not only makes your life more comfortable, but also ensures you are not a burden to your children. No one wants to be a burden, and only by maintaining your health can you avoid that. When you are healthy, you can cook, go to the market, clean, and even help your children a bit. These activities not only strengthen your body, but also help you feel valuable. Continuing from earlier, living with your original life partner after decades together is more precious than remarrying. The two of you have weathered many ups and downs, deeply understand each other's personalities, and know how to care for one another. Despite any fatigue, the joy remains greater than the hardship. Having a clear mind is essential. It helps prevent being deceived by others. Elderly individuals with clouded minds are not uncommon. Just one careless moment can lead to being tricked into buying unreliable financial products or using supplements of unknown origin. The result could be the loss of savings accumulated over a lifetime. Even more alarming is that many seniors don't realize they're being scammed and may even take actions that harm their family. After 70, you might pretend to be forgetful, but don't truly become unaware of your surroundings. Stay alert and discerning when facing problems. Recognize potential consequences quickly and know how to respond. This not only protects you from fraud, but also keeps you from falling into superstitious or outdated thinking. Financial independence is crucial. There's nothing to fear about having more money than needed. What's frightening is running out while still alive and well. While elders have the right to request support from their children, repeatedly asking for money can become a burden, especially if your children are struggling with debt or unemployment. If you have a pension, savings, and can manage your finances, you reduce stress for your family. Having your own home is even better. No need to tiptoe around or rely on others. Don't assume that small expenses don't matter. Rely on yourself first. Let your children only support you when truly necessary. This way, money won't cause conflict or pressure within the family. Many elderly people, when speaking, tend to talk only about the past or outdated views that no longer fit the times. Some even speak in a way that feels feudal. Older individuals often become stubborn in conversations, unwilling to accept new ideas, which makes others reluctant to engage with them. Those who communicate well in old age are often flexible and show strong empathy. Think about it. Why should the younger generation treat the elderly well? There's a saying that all benefits and values in life are temporary. Only when you provide emotional value and stability can you truly earn trust and reliance. If an elderly person can offer emotional comfort when others feel sad or disappointed, instead of just criticizing and complaining, then family relationships will naturally become more harmonious. The 6th admirable trait, being eager to learn and able to go out with ease. Lifelong learning is a universal truth that never changes. Many elderly people get lost when going out, unable to read signs or use smartphones to look up information or pay bills. Seniors don't need to learn advanced subjects, but learning social communication and navigation skills is essential. Don't just use your phone to watch meaningless content or spread rumors. Instead, seek information from reliable sources. Knowing how to pay utility bills via phone is already a major step toward a more convenient and smooth life. The 7th trait, Having hobbies keeps life from becoming boring. At age 70, intense physical activity may no longer be suitable. Even dancing isn't for everyone, and some elderly people can't sit for long, so card games or chess might not be ideal either. That's why having a good hobby that enriches your daily life is essential. Seniors don't need to force themselves to love something specific, whether it's playing chess, painting, singing, or fishing. Any hobby that suits them is the best one. There's an old saying, one without hobbies cannot socialize. An elderly person with hobbies not only becomes more endearing to others, but also learns how to enjoy their own company. The eighth trait, a generous heart without comparison or envy. People often say that in old age, one becomes more like a child. It's not unusual for elderly individuals to become irritable, narrow-minded, and unreasonable. However, if an elderly person can live with an open heart, that is truly admirable in daily life. If you can accept the imperfections of others, not be jealous of their success, not belittle yourself, and refrain from complaining about your income or worrying excessively about the future, that is a positive attitude. No matter your circumstances, live a simple life and treat today as the best day. At 70, you're not too old. But that doesn't mean you should become complacent. In today's world, 70 is not considered very old, but that doesn't give you an excuse to ignore your responsibilities or do whatever you want. Manage your remaining years well. Always bring positive emotions to your family. Be kind to others and walk side by side with your partner so that the feeling of happiness continues to grow. Old people are still people, and as people, they deserve to live a good life. Dear viewers, the ideal elderly life is having your partner by your side, being close to your children, having a stable pension, a happy family, and good health. That's the dream that many have when they think of retirement. However, everyone's situation and experiences are different. As such, no two senior lives are the same. Some people with low pensions still live happily. On the other hand, some with stable pensions still cannot enjoy old age and even suffer. This raises a poignant question. Isn't a pension supposed to guarantee a happy retirement? Why are some people with pensions less happy than those without? Let's explore the following story to better understand the pain of a 70-year-old man who receives a monthly pension of 10 million VND, but still lives in sorrow. A personal story, the regret of losing 3 loved ones. My name is Trung. I'm 70 years old this year. When I was in my early 50s, I divorced my life partner. At the time, many people felt sorry and said I had let go of a good wife and a great mother, and that I would regret it later. But back then, I didn't feel that way. I thought living alone would be fine. Before the divorce, my wife and I constantly argued. If not for the children, we might not have lasted that long. We waited until they grew up, then went our separate ways. After retirement, I received a pension of 10 million VND per month. I also had about 200 million VND in savings. I thought with this money, I wouldn't need to worry about anything in my old age. My health was still good. I exercised regularly and had no real worries. To enjoy life, I went fishing or played cards every day. I didn't even cook. I just ate out at restaurants. But over time, living alone became dull. I decided to look for a new life partner. I thought that having someone beside me would make life perfect again. However, after 6 months of searching, I couldn't find anyone suitable. So I kept living alone for several more years. Then one day, after sitting for too long playing cards, I suffered a brain hemorrhage and almost had a stroke. Luckily, I was rushed to the hospital in time. Otherwise, I can't imagine what would have happened. During my hospital stay, none of my children came to visit. Meanwhile, the patient in the bed next to me had children and even in-laws visiting every day. I felt extremely lonely and upset. But munming tiptok fun, after I was discharged, I hired a caregiver, afraid to live alone. I feared that if I suddenly became sick again, there would be no one to help. I paid 6 million VND a month for the caregiver. But when my son found out, he was very upset. He wanted me to move in with his family and give him the 6 million each month instead, in exchange for his care. But I didn't want that. At this age, I believe I have the right to decide how I want to live. I have a pension, I have savings, and I want to enjoy some comfort. What hurt me more was realizing that my son might not truly want to care for me out of love. He was only eyeing the 6 million. So when I refused to move in, he became unhappy. He thought I was willing to give money to a stranger, but not to my own son. That made him feel like he didn't hold a place in my heart. I once believed hiring a helper would make life easier, but things didn't go as expected. The caregiver I hired made me very upset. She worked carelessly, just doing the bare minimum. When I asked her to do housework, she did it sloppily. I felt that the 6 million VND I was paying her every month wasn't worth it. So I let her go. After that, life became incredibly difficult. Every day, I felt tired and unsure when this kind of life would ever end. That moment made me realize how deeply I regret losing 3 important people in my life. First, I regret not keeping my ex-wife. Even though I now receive a pension and have savings, my old age is filled with sorrow and loneliness. If I hadn't divorced her, maybe I wouldn't be suffering like this. Sure, we argued often when we lived together, but we were still husband and wife. If I had just humbled myself and apologized every time we argued, maybe we wouldn't have ended up separating. So my biggest regret is not trying hard enough to keep her in my life, and now I live in hardship and solitude because of it. Second, I regret not maintaining my health. After retiring, I stopped exercising. Maybe because I had a pension, I felt no need to worry and ended up living recklessly. I often drank with friends, paid no attention to my routines or diet. Before retirement, I worked out daily, but afterward, I just indulged myself without thinking of my health. My health has since declined. I now visit hospitals frequently and regret not taking care of myself. Even if I wanted to return to training now, I probably couldn't regain the strength I once had. Third, I regret not maintaining the relationship with my son. If I had agreed to live with him back then, our bond might not be so cold now. When I divorced his mother, he was very upset and had pleaded with me not to go through with it. But I insisted. I know he still holds resentment. I was stubborn and never admitted my faults or apologized. I thought as his father, he should obey me, not the other way around. That mindset created a growing gap between us. Things got worse when I rejected his offer to live together. I assumed he just wanted my pension, so I said no. That deeply hurt his good intentions. Now, even if I wanted to move in with him, I no longer have the chance. Looking back, I truly regret it. I should have listened to him long ago, so I wouldn't be in this situation today. If you found this story meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell to get updates when new content is posted. Thank you for watching and supporting our channel.